You must have heard the name Vim Bar. Yes, today we will discuss the journey of Vim Bar. In 1904, in Britain's Port Sunlight, the soap pioneer William Haskett Lever launched a scoring powder with a crisp, energetic name, Vim. It was built for a new idea of cleanliness and quickly became one of the first widely marketed home care products in Britain. Decades later, as Lever Brothers grew into Unilever and brought its brands to subcontinent, that old spirit of make cleaning easier would find a new life in India's sinks as a bright yellow dishwashing bar. In India, the brand slowly learned the rhythm of the steel plates and the pressure cooker. Hindustan Unilever turned Vim into a dishwashing range, first the bar, then the liquid, latter gel and machine formats, so that every type of kitchen, from a one-room chawl to a big apartment with a dishwasher, could find a fit. On HUL's own telling, Vim is one of its largest brands and a leader in the category, with growth driven by a long line of practical tweaks: a faster melting grease cut, a bar that wastes less at the edges, a scrubber that does not scratch, a liquid that rinses quickly, a matic version that understands dishwashers. It is home care engineering in small steps, shaped by the way people actually wash. What really cemented Vim Bar's place was its tone. The brand came to the Indian sink without swagger. It did not lecture, it promised relief. Tough on grease, gentle on hands became a simple promise many homes wanted to test. The lemon note, bright on the pack, fresh in the foam, was a kind of signal. This will cut the oil and leave the utensil shining. Over the years, HUL kept refining the message and the product behind it, and the category grew. In 2022, Unilever said Vim in India had more than 50% of market share and that 9 in 10 Indians had used a Vim product at least once in the previous 5 years. You could feel that scale in most ordinary places. The corner tea stall wiping tall steel tumblers, a college hostel mess cleaning steel thalis, a young family in a rented flat finishing dining and wanting the sink done in 5 minutes, not 15. If you listen closely, you can hear the strategy inside the foam. First, solve the daily job better than yesterday. Dishwashing is not a thrill, it is a core. Vim wins when the bar cuts through dal and oil faster, when the residue is low, when the scrub lasts longer, when the scent is clean, and when the price feels right. Second, offer formats for every kitchen. The same home may use bar for steel and liquid for non-stick, or a matic tablet for a weekend load. Vim meets each habit with a version designed for it. Third, build trust, then widen the circle. Once a brand is the default at the sink, it can try a floor cleaner or a machine variant or an antibacterial line. HUL has begun doing exactly that, taking Vim into adjoining jobs on the wet side of the home. A brand lives not only in the product but also in the culture. In recent years, Vim has nudged conversation beyond the sink with campaigns that asks who does the dishes and why it is so often women. One ad said, in effect, change the view, see beyond the utensils. Another spotlight the stubborn gap in chores at home. For a dishwash brand, that was a brave lane. It turned a daily act into a social question without losing the practical promise of clean vessels. Brands rarely change society, but they can hold up a mirror. Vim tried to do both, clean pots and clear the fog around stereotypes. Now imagine a typical evening. Cooker hisses, the kadai is slick with oil, plates carry smears of spice, the sink fills. A worker picks up a yellow bar, rubs the scrubber and a small citrus scent cuts through the kitchen noise. Grease lifts, the steel shines again. It is not magic. It is the chemistry and a million iterations of feedback turned into a better bar. When the core is this repetitive, friction, even tiny, decides loyalty. A bar that cracks, a foam that vanishes, a smell that lingers wrong, a price that loses the monthly budget. Any of these can push a home to reach for another brand. Vim's long run has come from removing those stumbles month after month and from being easy to find in Kirana next door. As the category matured, Vim did not stay still. It pushed Vim Liquid hard in urban kitchens where non-stick and glass needed gentler care. It launched Vim Matic for the growing base of dishwash machines. It tested premium and antibacterial variants, and it turned pack sizes so that a student or a joint family both felt seen. This is not glossy innovation. It is format discipline. The reward is resilience. When a home upgrades from a bar to liquid, the brand keeps the customer inside its circle rather than losing her to a rival. The story has numbers that anchor the narrative. HUL says Vim is a market leader in dishwashing in India. An external reporting in late 2024 quoted an HUL home care executive saying the brand was on the track to cross rupees 3,000 crore in the annual sales, while also entering adjacent categories like floor cleaners under the same name. In mid-2025, Reuters again noted HUL's push to extend Vim Bar into floor cleaning as a part of a broader home care revamp. Those figures do not live on the chart in the average home. They live in a small bar that wears out a little slower and a liquid that feels a little stronger. Competition has never been light. Multinationals, national challenges, and dozens of regional levels fight for the sink with price cuts, freebies, and local flavors. Shoppers experiment, particularly when inflation bites. The category itself keeps shifting. Bar remains huge, but liquids and gels grow with urban convenience and rising incomes. Dishwashers are still a niche, but they are less rare than 10 years ago. Each shift brings new rules. A bar must be tough and frugal. A liquid must be mild and quick rinsing. A machine tablet must be residue smart and glass safe. Brands that cannot live under all three rules risk becoming a memory in one corner of the market. Inside that shifting field, it is easy to read a SWOT without breaking the flow. Strength for Vim is a century-old brand backed by HUL supply chain, R&D and distribution muscle. It reaches deep into Kirana and wide across modern trade and e-commerce and also quick commerce, and it carries a simple trusted promise at the right place. Weakness is a risk of sameness. Dishwashing can feel like a commodity, and if the brand stops adding small advantages, price decides the day. Bar can erode margins when raw materials rise, and formats like liquid demand constant premium proof to hold their price. And formats like liquid demand constant premium proof to hold their price. Opportunity is large and close. Premium liquids, machine formats, antibacterial niches, and adjacent jobs like floor cleaning, where the tough on grease, gentle on hands idea still makes sense. Threats comes from quick copy rivals. Regional players also move faster on local tests and the broader swing of costs. Oils, fragrances, surfactants that can compress profits even in a good sales year. The brand's challenges are the kind that look small on slides and big in real life. The first is value discipline. In a country where millions count every rupee at the month end, a 5 rupee difference can move share. Vim must defend a mass price point while still funding better chemistry and broader distribution. The second is format migration. As homes shift from bar to liquid to machine, the brand must be obvious next choice at each step. If a home upgrades and leaves Vim behind, the earlier loyalty has not been fully earned. The third is communication with care. When your product touches the heart of the home, kitchen, food, children's utensils, claims must be accurate, benefits must be believable, and advertising must be responsible. The fourth is sustainability. India's consumers, especially the Gen Z, care about plastic usage, water savings, and skin mildness. Those concerns must show up not just in CSR reports, but in the bottle, the bar wrapper, and the wash. Some of this pressure is also opportunity in disguise. When consumers move to liquids for convenience and to machine formats for time, the brand that has already built trust at the bar can walk with them if it keeps the feel constant. When families worry about skin, a mild surfactant system and a gentle fragrance can become a reason to stay with a familiar name. And when retailers think about self-turns, a brand that keeps moving quickly will keep its best slot. There is also the quieter work. Distribution. The bar that sells because it is always there is anchored by the web of wholesalers, vans, and shopkeepers who knows the bar, the margin, and the customer. HUL's network gives Vim an advantage here, but it is not automatic. Competitors quote the same soap with better schemes. The shelf is a daily election. Winning it requires reliable supply, fair credit terms, small freebies at the right time, and the confidence that the bar will move off the shelf fast. In India, the Kirana is a strategy meeting conducted through a shutter at 8 a.m. in the morning. Vim's brand voice has learned to move in 2 years. One is the utility voice, grease cut, lemon freshness, quick rinse. The other is the value voice, who washes, who shares the load, whether the home sees the person at the sink. The second voice does not sell bars by the dozen in a day, but it builds patience for the first voice to work. When the brand asks men to pick up the scrub as well, it is doing more than advertising. It is inviting the home to see the core, not just the foam. That matters in the long run. If we step back, a few key stats help place Vim on the map without turning the story into spreadsheet. The brand's global heritage goes back to 1904 with Lever Brothers scoring powder. In India, HUL positions Vim as one of its biggest brand and the market leader in hand dishwashing, with growth powered by constant innovation and consumer-centered tweaks. In 2022, Unilever publicly noted more than 50% market share for Vim in India and an extraordinary reach, up to 90% of Indians touched by the brand at least once in 5 years. In 2024, HUL leaders told the press that brand was set to cross rupees 3,000 crore in sales and that they were taking Vim into floor cleaning. In 2025, routers again pointed to Vim's extension into floor cleaners as part of HUL's home care playbook. These are milestones, not medals. They tell you how a sink habit became a national business. Picture a closing scene to hold it all together. It is the late evening in a small apartment in Indore. Dinner is over. The sink is a small mountain of steel glass non-sticks. A young man and his mother stand side by side. He wets the scrubber, runs it over a yellow bar, and foam rises with that familiar lemon note. His mother reaches for the liquid to swipe the non-stick pan. They talk about the day, the plates shine, the smell fades. In the corner, a small bottle of floor cleaner with the same name waits for a weekend course. In another city, a buyer at the big store checks sales and gives the yellow bar one more facing because it moves. At HUL's office, a team look at dashboard. Bar steady, liquid rising, Matic learning fast, input costs up this quarter, pricing tight, promotions scheduled, next ad script under review for tone and truth. No one in these rooms says SWOT out loud, but each is living it. Strength in habit, weakness in sameness, opportunity in formats, and adjacent jobs and threat from rivals and costs. That, in the end, is the Vim Bar's simple promise and long practice. Keep the everyday moving. The hero is not the brand, but the clean plate stacked to dry without a second thought. If Vim keeps making that moment faster, kinder on hands, and lighter on the monthly budget while speaking with care and truth, then the small yellow bar that began as a scoring idea in port sunlight will keep its place by Indian sinks for many nights to come. Thank you for watching. Please comment as to how was this story. And if you have not subscribed as yet, then please like, subscribe and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.